Welcome to the Shekina Meditation Podcast, created by Shekina community members. Shekina communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode show notes and other information at shekinacommunity.com.
Hello, this is Ro.
And this is Ray.
And it's week 58 of the podcast. It's Wednesday, the 11th of December, as we record this, and it's a very chilly day here.
The mornings start out freezing.
You can see our breath. We can see our little animals' breaths. It's very cute.
That's awesome.
Have you seen that on your little dog in the morning? I was seeing our
Aw.
little cat's breath yesterday. It was adorable.
That's really cute.
That gold.
Listeners, this podcast is supported by you. Because this podcast is about meditation, we want to keep it ad-free. Our beloved patrons at patreon.com support us for as little as $1 a month, and patrons get extra audio every month. We just put up November's extra audio, and that is a meditation with Caleb. It's his first ever meditation, and yeah, it's really sweet. You can find us at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast.
And another way that you can support this little podcast is by rating or reviewing us on iTunes. If you feel like this is a 5-star podcast, why not tell the world? You could also email the podcast to a friend, send them a link, or tell your next door neighbor.
Yeah, or you could share it on Instagram. Or you could plaster it on the side of a building.
Get permission first.
Get permission first.
Yes.
It's a good way to stay out of jail.
That's right. Supporting this podcast does help so much. It really does help to keep all our Shekina communities running and free for travelers and spiritual seekers. And it helps us know that you appreciate what we're doing in putting this podcast into the world.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Patrons, you're the best. You're like a little patch of sunshine on a wintry day.
Yes. You can just curl up in it and feel that little bit of warmth.
So good.
So how are things, Ro?
Well, we've had a pretty epic week this last week just gone. It's been very chilly. Had a cold snap here.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks earlier than normal. So everyone's huddling around fires in the evening and putting on loads of layers. It's really nice though. Because most of our life here is really hot. It kind of feels a bit special for it to be so chilly.
It does. It feels really special to cuddle under blankets and stuff. We live a lot outdoors.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the issue is we're riding motorbikes and we're in freezing cold. It's close to 0 Celsius right now, close to freezing in the mornings. So our outdoor life is a little bit less cozy sometimes.
Yeah.
But we do get to cozy up around fires and under blankets.
That's right. Yeah, I was realizing on Monday when it was really cold that since I got out of bed until I went to bed, I'd been outside all day. Like I had all the meals were outside or in outside kitchens. I'd been in a sala, which is like just a roof with no walls, and then I'd been outside. I'd just been outside all day, and it was pretty chilly. So it was, the whole...
Our kitchens are outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's chilly.
And then a whole bunch of us went down to Chiang Mai over the weekend because Leaf had her first solo art exhibition over the weekend, and it was the launch of a project she's been working on for quite a while called the Traveling Shrine, and that was beautiful. We really should put up some links on the blog to her stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I think we'll be able to do that more later on, but it's basically a project. She has a set of little cards that people can take with them, and it's got a little holder, and they're verses and images and really beautiful stuff, and really, just really beautiful.
Yeah, they're amazing. Look forward to sharing more about that with you as time goes on and her website gets up and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are preparing for Christmas right now, and so that means right now we're just making lots of lists.
Yep.
Who's gonna make
Who's going to do what?
The tons and tons of rice, and who's going to make it pretty and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What songs are we going to sing? Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And that's fun and daunting.
Yeah. Last year we had a really huge increase of numbers, and we think there was about 250 people because we had 250 plates and they ran out.
Yeah.
So we think around that many people.
Yeah.
And I must say our Sunday lunches have been a little smaller than they were this time last year.
Yeah.
They're still plenty big. They're like 70, 80 people at the moment, ish. So it might be smaller than last year, but it might not be.
We never know.
We don't really know. So we just get everyone we know to cook, and we all make a big curry, and we have heaps of rice and loads of salad, and get all our friends to make dessert, and it'll be delicious.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
We also do a program of some kind. That's kind of a funny word for it, but it's like a curated event where we tell the story of the Nativity, like of Jesus' birth, but with poetry and songs and readings in different languages, and make it really creative and interactive, and moments of like levity and play, and then like serious heavy moments of like what it means that Jesus came. And it's such a beautiful night, and all our friends tend to rave about it a little, which is really lovely.
People just come up and thank us for it again and again and again in the coming days. So let's see. We never know how it's going to go, so let's see how it goes this year.
Yeah, we'll let you know how it goes in the new year.
Maybe we can have some kind of video or something too.
That's a great idea. Yep.
We did a devotion circle. I was not here for that row, but I hear it was beautiful and it was around the fire.
Yeah, because we've had this cold snap. We were like, we want to be around a fire. So we just, sung lots of bhajans around the fire, and then Neil guided us in a discussion about around the idea of debt and indebtedness, and the idea of God's forgiveness of debt, like not financial, but like what sort of debt do we owe God? Or like we talked about like what we owe each other, and also how we owe God, or what God owes us, like all that kind of idea. It was really lovely. And then we just stayed around the fire for hours, because who can leave once you're at a fire? We sang lots of songs, and then ordered pizza because no one wanted to leave, and then pizza took 2 hours, so no one did leave. Yes. But that was a really lovely devotion circle.
That's lovely.
I think we need to do that more in cold season.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Why have we never done that before?
Yeah, why not? That's amazing. I do think that we haven't had anything this cold since the first year that I was here. So that might be why that we weren't like racing to the fire last year for devotion circle.
That's right.
And what else? We're doing some work around the garden. Neil is working hard on building a new room on the side of the kitchen that will store a lot of the things that we need to use in the sala, like our mats and things like that. And then, Chinua's been working with Caleb on building a saw table so that he can be ready to build a door for the new room. So it's kind of fun. There's been a lot of like connection over work in the season, I feel. Yep,
really nice. Like people coming in, helping out with projects, or bringing their own project, and then asking the folks who are more involved in the workshop to like teach them how to use things, or like work with them to create things. It's been so nice. Yeah,
so there's like a lot of buzz around the garden in these little pockets, where people are working in the workshop and building something together and having long talks, or people are doing handwork in the sala, or people are working in the garden. It's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
Or playing and doing acro in the grass. That's fun too.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
So today's episode is a contemplation of nature meditation guided by Ro and recorded in Pai, Thailand. The meditation will have 3 parts. You will need an object or an idea of something you want to focus on, something that comes from nature. So either something that you can hold in your hand, for example, a stone or a leaf or a piece of earth or something like that, or something you can see, like a tree or a mountain or anything you can see, or it could be something that you can imagine, like the wind or gravity or the sun. Just something from nature that you're going to focus on during the meditation. And Ro will guide you through some exercises to help you kind of come to a more quiet place. And then she will lead you with some questions about your objects. So she's going to guide you into thinking more deeply about your object with some questions.
And then the third part of our meditation is all about processing. So you might like to journal some thoughts down if you're meditating by yourself. Or if you're meditating with other folks, you might like to pass a talking stick or another object and give each person an opportunity to share their experience, listening really well to each other, not interrupting or correcting. And just let each person share as they wish.
Let's begin.
Welcome this morning to Shekina Garden. We're going to do a nature meditation today. So we will spend a little bit of time just preparing our bodies and our minds and just settling in. Then we will get up and go out into nature and find something to meditate on. It can be something small that you can pick up in your hand, like a leaf or a flower or something. Or it could be something that you can see from sitting here, like a tree or the mountain or something a bit further off. Or it could be something that's invisible or that you can imagine, or maybe that you've had an experience of in the past that you can draw to your mind really clearly. And we'll spend some time exploring that part of nature, and then I'll ask us a few questions about it with lots of space, lots of quiet, just to play with our minds and experiment and have a playful opportunity just to interact with that element of nature. And then afterwards we'll pass our talking stick and share any experiences that we might like to share. We have this space here to interact with God and to welcome our friends into the Christ path and to experiment and see what it looks like to walk with Jesus. And that's sort of a very open door and a very, we're trying to clear the path to be nice and easy to walk on and a welcoming space. So just welcome each of you here today, and I'm thankful to be sitting here with each of you, and thankful to just take some time to be quiet and still, listen to the divine, listen to nature, and see what is said. So to begin, let's find just a comfortable position that we can hold for a little while. We don't have any rules about staying totally still during our meditation practice, but to begin with, sometimes it's helpful to find a position that's pretty still. You might like to roll your shoulders a couple of times, have a little stretch, and find a position that's nice and quiet. You might like to imagine a golden thread gently pulling you up through the crown of your head so that your spine's nice and long and you can breathe easily. And we're just going to draw our attention towards our breath. Not changing how we breathe, just breathing naturally and comfortably. And just noticing what happens when we breathe. Perhaps noticing the rise and fall of your belly. Perhaps noticing the temperature of the air as it rushes in your nostrils. Noticing perhaps a change of temperature on the exhalation. In your mind's eye, you might like to imagine the path of the air as it goes in your body, rushes in your nostrils, fills up the lungs, the blood becoming oxygenated, traveling all around the body, bringing life and health, rejuvenation to cells. And then the exhalation, the belly sinking, the lungs expelling air, the rush of air again out the nose.
Our natural body, just getting rid of the things we don't need, that aren't serving us. Waste material, things that aren't used by the body. Just noticing for a moment this amazing system. This beautiful system that just continues all day and all night without our attention. You might like to take a few deeper breaths, deep down into your belly. Really filling up with air and perhaps sighing that breath out with an open mouth. We can really notice the 3-part rhythm in the breath, the inhale, the exhale, and then the pause at the bottom of the breath before we inhale again. Let's also notice what else is going on in our body. Maybe doing a little bit of a scan in your mind's eye over your body. Noticing the feeling of your clothes against your skin. Noticing the parts of your body that are touching or that are in contact with the mat. The feeling of the air on your skin. What sensations can you notice in your body? Perhaps also noticing any parts of your body that might be sore or stiff. Any pain or any other sensation that you might notice. You might like to imagine sending your breath to that part of your body and perhaps just releasing it, letting it go just a little, just as much as is available to you today. If you feel tension maybe in your shoulders or your hips, your neck, see if you can imagine breathing to that part of your body, filling it with air, with life, and then exhaling, releasing a little, letting the muscles go a little more. As we find stillness and relaxation in the body, we can often notice that the mind is still quite busy, quite active. Perhaps the heart is dwelling on lots of things. Perhaps there are lots of thoughts or feelings coming up in your mind. We're just going to take a few moments to notice those thoughts, not judging them, but just being kind to ourselves, noticing them as they come to our attention. And then just letting them float away. Perhaps you might like to imagine that you're looking at the sky and that the thoughts are like clouds. They can come into your field of vision. You can notice them. And then you can let them float off, float away, so that they're not concerning you. I'm going to take a couple of minutes to do this. And just invite you to purposefully let those thoughts just float away, that they don't need to concern us during this meditation time. If they need our attention later on, we can come back to them. But that for now, we can notice them and then let them go on their way, not to distract us or concern us. During our meditation, it's normal for thoughts to come back into our attention to distract us. When that happens, you might like to return to this practice of imagining them just floating by. You can even use your breath if that works for you. When you exhale, imagining blowing the clouds away. As we enter into the next part of our meditation, I'd like to invite you into a playful space. Maybe connecting with the inner child. Going to a time when there was time to explore. Letting yourself be free to explore ideas and images and thoughts that come your way during the meditation with curiosity, with playfulness, with imagination. Listening to what might be said to you, and also just exploring the ideas that come. There's no wrong way to do this, nothing's out of bounds. You can explore in whatever way feels good for you today. So in a moment we'll get up and we can move outside into the garden to choose an object from nature. Again, that object can be something small that you can pick up. It can be something large that you can look at with your eyes. Or it could be something far away or even something invisible, but something that you can explore clearly with your mind. We'll give ourselves a few minutes to find an object. Again, there's no wrong answer. Just go with what feels interesting to you. And we'll begin again when everyone is back seated in the sala. We can go and find our object. I'd like to invite us into a time of exploration of our object with our senses. I'm going to spend a few moments finding out everything we can about this object. Using all your senses, see if it makes a noise, if it's safe to do so. You can taste it, smell it, play with it. See if you can really ignite your curiosity about this object. See what you can notice about all the different elements of it. Next, I'm going to ask us a series of questions. If it's easier for you to concentrate by keeping your eyes open and continuing to explore your object, feel free to do that. Or if you'd like to put it down, close your eyes, whatever works for you. And the first question that we have today is, how are this element of nature and I connected? This thing I've chosen from nature and me, how are we connected? The next question is, this object from nature and I, How are we the same or very similar? How are we very similar or the same? Our next question is, how are we different? This object from nature that we've chosen and ourselves. How are we different from each other or not the same? The next question is, how is the object from nature that we've chosen connected to God? How is this piece of nature and God connected? How are they connected? The next question. How is the object or element from nature the same as God, or very similar? How is your object from nature the same as God, or very similar? The last question this morning is, how is the element of nature different to God? How are they not the same? How is the element of nature different to God? How are they not the same? can slowly begin to move away from this part of our meditation. You might like to again take a few deep breaths into your belly. Maybe bring a little bit of movement to fingers and toes. And slowly, as we're ready, we'll get ready for our sharing circle, our talking circle. When you're ready to move into that part of the meditation, we'll know we're all ready when we're all sitting up and with our eyes open.
Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation available each week, so don't forget to subscribe to iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinacommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Also, you can rate or review on iTunes or sign up as a patron at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast. Have a beautiful week. Many blessings to you.